Welcome to Macrocode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to do something on ASP.NET Core Web API. So we are going to see how you can upload files and even download files on the API. So I'm going to create a simple project. So here I'm going to create a simple project. Then choose ASP.NET Core Web API template. Then click next. So here we are going to say files management. So let me just type in files management API. So I'm going to have these as a files management API. Then create the project. So I'm going to use authentication type is none. Then we are using .NET 8.0, which is actually on long-term support. Then I'm going to use enable open API support. Then I'm also going to use controllers. Then click create. So this will now create our API. So we are going to see how you can upload files and download files via an API. So as you can see, we have our project that is the weather forecast model. We also have a weather forecast controller, as you can see here. So if we just launch this project, we're able to see that we have our API and with one controller, that is the weather forecast controller, and we can get the weather details. So if our API launches, so let's just see. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to our channel, like our video, and comment down below. So as you can see, this is how our API looks like. So this is our files management API, and we only have this one endpoint. So if we click get, so we can just do a tryout. So if we click execute, it will actually give us some details of the weather forecast, which is actually on this section. So what I want us to do is I want us to create our controller. But before that, I want us to do something. We can even let's just start with creating the controller. Then we should be able to see how we are going to do that. So let's just create the controller here. I'm going to create a controller, an empty one. So this should be an API controller, an empty controller. Then if we do that, we are going to say we call these documents upload controller. So if we do that, so we have our controller, which is documents upload. So I want us to introduce some endpoints here. So the first endpoint is I want us to have public. So we can have a sync. Then we can say task. So let me try to zoom. So task. Then we have I action result. Then here we can say, let's call this upload file. So this is one endpoint, upload file. So on this upload file, we're expecting a file. So I'll just do iForm file. Then we can call this file. We can call it file. So if we do that, then I can do that. So on our upload, on the upload file, we need to get we need now to upload the file on this endpoint. And one thing that we need to do is once we get the file, we need to get the name. So I'm going to say variable file name. So file name I can do that, but assuming you are uploading the same file twice, so we can actually maybe give it a unique name. So I'm going to do path. Then you can say get random. So I'm going to get a random file path, file name. So this will give me random file name. Then I can actually say add. So instead of just using the random file name, I can also give it another some unique names. So I can also give it the timestamp. So I'll just say date time. Then I can do now. Then I can do to string. Then if I do that, I'm going to take the current timestamp. So this will be my file name. It will get the random file name, then plus the date, the timestamp of the time the file was uploaded. But I want this in this format. So I'm going to give the format. So I want it in the year, month, then I can say day, then hours, then I can also do minutes and seconds. So after we do that, we'll have our random file name, then we'll also have the date, time, then I can now give it the name that was uploaded with our file. So here I can maybe say class underscore, can have it that way. So this will give me the name of the file. So after we have the name of the file, that means we can now proceed and check what has been uploaded. So one thing that we need to check is we can check the extension. So from this one, we can actually get the file extension. So I can say variable extension. So I can say the extension equals to, so I can get the file. So I can say path.get extension, which is actually the file name. So if we have that, we can now save the file. So one thing is we can create the path. So I'll just do variable file path. Then you can say our path will be path.combine. So I'll say combine. Then I'll just do here directory dot get current directory. Then I can pass in the file name. So on the current directory, I want just to get the current directory. So I'll just do that. Then I want it to combine with let's just say maybe within our file, we can actually have the folder within our application. So the folder, we can create a folder within our application so that we can actually upload the file. So how to do that? We are going to create a folder within our app and save all the files. So here I'm going to create a folder. So let me just create a folder and call these uploads. So we are going to have these as uploads. So you can do uploads. Then within uploads, you can actually have another folder. You can say documents. So then we can have these as uploads. Then we can actually do backslash. So I'll just do backslash. Then we can have here documents. So that is our path. So once we have this, we can actually check our path. So here I can do something. I can check if this path exists. So I'll just do if we say is not, so we say directory dot exist. So you can check that, then we pass our file path. So if we do that, we are able to check if that directory exists, and if it doesn't exist, we can actually create it. So you can do directory dot create directory, then we pass the file path, and this will be our file path. So after we are done with that, then we can actually now get the exact, so you can say complete path. So our complete path will be this one, will be our file here. So we need to copy that. So it will be path combined directly get current directory. Then we'll have our uploads documents. Then we need now to have our file. So that is now our complete path of the file. So we can get the file name. So this will be our complete file name path. So you can see complete. We have the current directory, uploads, then documents, then we have our file. So since we have this, we can actually now save our file. So I'll just do using, then I'll do variable stream, then I'll say is equals to new, then file. So we have here new file. So I'll just do file stream. Sorry, this should be file stream. So then I'll do I'll pass in the path here. So I'll pass in the complete path. Then I'll also give it, I'll do file dot create. So I'll do file mode here. I'll pass the file mode. Then I say dot create. Then once I do that, we are now copying the file to our upload documents folder. So I'll just do await. Then I do file dot copy to async. Then I can pass in the stream. So if we do that, then I can now comment this. So I can also wrap this in a try catch. So I'll just do try. Then I'll have it that way. Then I can have it here. Can do try catch. So this one will be try catch. Then we can do here exception X. Then I'll do that. So I can close it that way. So let me zoom. So if I do that, then I can now, so this one should be await. We need something here. So this is using stream, new file stream, then create, then we close, then await file. Then once we do that, this is that way. So what is the issue here? We need to close this here. So if we do that, then we are okay. So then we now have, so here I can actually, the last thing here is I want us to return a file. So here I can actually return, so I'll do return file name. So here I'll just return file name. So what I can do here is I can actually give it my name at the top here. So that will be my name. Then I can return file name. So here we can actually do return OK. So we can do return OK. Then we can have our file name here. So if we do that, then we should be able to upload a file. So let me just launch our app and see how this goes. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, like our video, and comment down below. So we are going to upload a file. So let's just see. So this is how our API looks like. So we have an issue here. So let's just go back. So here, we need to define something. We need to define this as a post request, HTTP post. So we'll need to say this is HTTP post, and that's okay. So let's relaunch. I'm going to launch our app. So let's just launch. So there you go. So you see we have the documents upload, and you have our post endpoint, which is actually API documents upload. So if we try this out, you're able to see that we need to attach a file. I'm going to attach a file. So here, we just do try. Then if we select, we are going to attach a dummy file. So as you can see, if I click here, then upload. So let's just have our breakpoint, then we see what will happen. So I'm going to have a breakpoint here. So if we do that and click execute, then we should be able to see we have our file, and you can see you have the dummy.pdf and the length. So we can do that. So if we try these, you are able to see the extension is .pdf, our complete file path. You can see it is that path. Then if it's not there, that means it has actually found our, then we do that, then it has copied our file. So if we proceed, go back to our API, you'll see it has returned a string with dummy PDF file. So if we go back to our application, under the same folder, you'll see we have a file here. But there is something that is going on here. You see our name is not giving us the correct name. So here we have the date time plus underscore. Let's try to see. It has given us, so it has given us the name, get random. So this is what it has not done well. So that should be the case. So this should be path.get random file name. Then it will also add these in the file. So if we try to upload another file, so let's just execute and try to upload the file. So I'll try here. Then if we assign another file, then execute, then we should be able to get, so you can see the file name now. We have a unique name, then we have the timestamp, then the name dummy file. So if we proceed, it will return for us now the correct name. You can see here, this is the correct name. And if we go back to our folder, then you'll see we have the file name. So the next thing that I want us to do, we have been able to upload the file. So we should be able to as well download that particular file. So I'm going to create another endpoint. So here we can copy this and we'll also come here, paste it. Then we should have this as a, so this will be download file. So we'll say download file. But now what we should supply is not the file. We should supply the name. So I'm going to supply the file name. So I'll say string file name. So that is the file name that we should get from the user. Then the next thing is we need to get the complete path. The complete path of that file. So I'm going to copy this. So then paste it here. Then we'll have a complete path is get directly upload documents, then our file name. And this is the file name. The same file name here should resemble the file name that has been supplied. So then after that, what us to do, we say variable provider. Then we say is equals to new, say file extension content type provider. So we want to call that. Then I'm going to do that way. Then here, I want to get the extension. So I'll do if. So I'll do if provider dot try get content type. Then I'll just do that. I'll pass the file path. So this is the complete file path. Then I'll just do content type. Then this will give me the content type. Then here, I'll just do content type equals to, then I'll do application, then I'll do octet, then stream. So this is application, octet, stream. Then I'll close that way. Then I'll come here and do variable bytes. We need to get the bytes now. I'll just say await. Then we'll say system.io.file. Then we need to read all the bytes. And we are going to read it from this path. Then after that, we need to return the file. So I'll just say return. Then I'll do file. Then I'll pass bytes. And the next thing is content type. Then I'll also pass the path. I'll just path.get. I'll return with the name. So get file name. Then I want to get the name of the file from the path. So I'll just pass this one. So if we do that, then we should be able to, so this, we need another one here. So we should now be able to download the file. So this one we can do HTTP. So here you can see we have our HTTP get, then we have the download file. So if we try to execute this now, I'm going to run this. So we should now be able to download the file. So let me try to execute that. Then we need to pass the correct name of the file. So as you can see, this is our endpoint. We have the, so you see documents upload and you have the documents upload. But now I want us to differentiate these two endpoints. You see it has now the same name, documents upload, and one is post and another one is get. So to differentiate that, go to our endpoints. then we are going to define the roots. So here we are going to do, we say root, then we give it our name. So we can give it the name. So we'll say here upload file. Then we can actually also do something here. So you can say, you can do, sorry. So I'll just do produce response. So you can say produce response type. Then you can say that is the response type. So you can say status code. You can say here status code, status codes. So equals status codes. You can do status codes. Then we can do here dot status 200. Okay. Then you can also do, you can say produce response. So here you can say produce response. Then you can also say here type of. Then we can do string. Then we can also do status code. Then we can do, so this should be comma. Then we can do status bad request. So here you can say status bad request. Status bad. So this should be status. And say status 400 bad request. So we can also copy this and come to our download. Then we can change this to download file. Download file. So that is our endpoint. So if we relaunch now, we should not be having the same endpoint names. So we'll be having two different endpoints names. So you can see we have the post upload file and we have the get download file. So if we try to pass get, we need the file name. So we are going to get the file name from this is our file name. So let me just stop this and copy the exact name. So I'm going to copy the file name. So if we do that, so I'm going to launch our app. Then I'm also going to pass the name. So if I paste the name here and execute, you'll notice that it is giving me there is something wrong. So you can see could not find that particular file in our application. So if we just do, then we do .pdf, then execute, you'll notice that it is now giving us the download file here. So you can actually, if we click here, it will download our file. You can see it is now downloading our file. So you need to pass here the exact name of the file. So if we execute again, you're able to see it is downloading our file. So one thing that I also want us to change, for example, you can see on our code here, we have try, then we have a catch. So you can actually say here maybe throw. So you can say throw x. So you can have that. So here we can just say throw x, and that is okay. Then I want us to do something. So whenever we are uploading the file, we can try uploading the same file. So if you go back here and try upload, it will actually generate a different name and assign it to our file. So if we execute, you can see it has now a different file name. So if we go back to our folder, you'll see we have another file. So assuming we want to, whenever you upload a file, we actually need to check if that file has been uploaded and whether it is actually a file or it's something else. So you can actually check that by coming here and just check if we have. So here we can say if file dot, so you can say dot length is actually greater than 0. That is when you want to save the file. So you can check if the file that has been uploaded is greater than 0. Then you can also wrap everything here within now this if condition. So I'll just do that. Then I'll come down here and wrap everything within that. Else, if the file has not been uploaded, we can actually return. So we can actually return something else. So you can say return okay, and you pass in nothing. But this is our file name. We should actually have our file name here. So if we do that, then we should be able to now get our file. So so that's how you can check that. So you can check if file name dot length, or even you can do if file is not equal to null and file name dot length is greater than 0. Then it will actually copy the file to our application. So here, instead of returning this, you can actually do bad request. So if we do bad request, so we can do that, then we are good to go. So you can actually be doing that, then your file will be uploaded. So we've managed to upload a file. So you can see this one. You can try to upload another one. So if I try this, type the file, then execute, it has given me the file name, and I can now go to the download option and pass this exact file name and execute, and you can see it is allowing me to download the file. So I'm able to download the file. So there is one thing that you can actually do. Assuming we have been uploading files and we also want to have these in our database. So we can also translate these to our database. So one thing that we can do is we can create a model. So we can actually create a model. Then we should be able to store all the files in our database. So for example, let's just go back here. So I'm going to our application. So let's just create a model. So I'm going to create a model, and I'm going to call this file. You can say document, you can call it document attachments. So here I can do public int ID, which will actually be auto-generated. Then I can also do file name. So here I'll just do string file name. So if we do that, then I can also do extension. I can save in the extension of the file. So here I'll say file extension. Then I can also do the file path. I can also store the file path in case you want to access that file. Where do you get it? And I can also do the date created. So here I'll do date time. So here I'll just do date time. Then you can do date created. So this is when the file was uploaded, or you can say date uploaded. So once you are done with that, so there's one thing I want us to do. So let's just install some NuGets. So we are going to connect this to our database. So I want us to install some NuGets. So here I'll just do entity framework core. So you can do entity framework core, then install our entity framework core. So I'm going to install it. Then I'm also going to install here tools, entity framework core tools. So I'll just do tools, then install that as well. Let me try to, so accept. Let me try to dock this. So then also I want us to install entity framework core, then you can say SQL. So we are going to link this here with our SQL. So there we are, SQL Server. So install that, accept. Then we can do that. So after doing that, we can now go back to our application. Then I'm going to create another folder called application DB context. Application, or we can call this database. Let's just call it database. The folder, we can call it database, because that is where we are going to have our connection. Then I'm going to create another class called application DB context. So application DB context. So once we have that, then I'm going to inherit DB context here. DB, so say DB context. Then we need to import our EF core now. You can see we should be able to do that. Then here we need to have our constructor. So I'll just do CTO. Then if we do that, we'll now be having our constructor. Then here we need to have our DB options. So I'll just do DB options. Then we need to pass our application DB context. So we can actually copy the name here, then pass it here. Then here just do options. Then here we can do base. Then we can do options. Sorry. So here I'll just do base, full colon, then do base. Then you can do options. So you can remove this. So that is it. So after doing that, we can, let me just have this down here so that you see how it looks like. So that is our application DB context. So we need now to define our tables. So we'll do public DB set. So public DB set. Then we can do here now our model. So we pass in our model. We've called it documents attachment. So this is our model. So we need to pass it here. Then we can call it documents attachments. So I'm going to call it documents attachments. So that is so this is how my table will be named. So after doing that, the next thing is we need to define our that is our connection string. So this connection string will now give us our connection to the database. So we need to ensure that we have connected this to the database. So here, I'll just come here and do connection string. Then inside our connection string, we need to have our default connection. We'll just do default connection. Then I'm going to have my server name, which is equals to, so I'll start my SQL. Then we are going to have our server name there. So as you can see, this is my server name. So I'm going to copy this. Then go back to our application. Then I'm going to have it here. Then I'll just do that. Then I'll do database. So we need to provide the name of my database. So I'll come here and do that. Then I'm going to create a database. So let me just remove this. Then we can create the same database name. So I'll do file, new. Then I'll also do file, uploads. So we have actually done another video, guys, on uploading documents to the database and even to a folder. So if you are new to this channel, you can actually see the link below on how you can do that. So I'll go back here and just have my database. Then I'm also going to have some settings. So after we have done that, I'm going to have so I'm going to say trust server certificate, and I'm going to set this to true. Then I'm also going to have multiple active result sets, and I'm going to set this to, let me zoom that. I'm going to set this to true. Then I'm also going to have trusted. So I'm going to say trusted server certificate. So I'm going to say trusted server certificate. I'm going to set this to true. Then once we have that, I think we are now okay to proceed and link our application. So there's one thing that we need to do. So we need to go to our program.cs class and now define our connection there. So go to program.cs. Then here, I'm going to do builder. So this is builder.services. Then you're going to say add SQL. So we are going to add SQL. So you can say builder.services. Then you're going to say add. Here you should say add. Sorry, this should be add context, add DB context. So that is it. Then we need to pass our DB context application. So this should be application DB context. So this application DB context is actually what we created here. Then after doing that, we need now to pass our options. So inside here, we need to pass our options. And I'm going to define that now where we are going to define. So inside here we can do. So I'll just do options. So I'll do options dot use. So sorry, I'm going to say options. Let's just copy this. So we are going to say options dot use. So this is where we should use SQL Server. Then within the use SQL Server, we are going to pass now our connection. So I'll just do builder, then dot configuration. So we are going to get our connection string. So let me zoom it so that you're able to see. So I'll do configuration, then dot get connection string. Then within this connection string, this is where we are now going to pass our app settings default connection. So it will actually use this connection. So I'm going to pass this here and close it. So if we close that, then we are good to go. Let me zoom in. So after doing that, then we are okay to proceed. So this is what you need to do so that you're able to connect this to the database. So we have our application DB context with our table. So the next thing is to actually do migrations. So I'm going to do migrations. So NuGet Package Manager console. Then I'm going to add migration. So I'm going to say add migration. Then give it the name of the migration, which is initial migration. Then after doing that, press enter. So if you have done the connection correctly, then you should not be having any issues here. So let's just confirm and see. So we should be able to have our build should succeed. As you can see, our build is succeeded, and we should be able to see our files, and you can see our file has been generated. So we have our migrations folder created here, and you have our initial migration. Then we have our initial migration file generated, and you can see it is now going to create a table called documents attachments. We have the ID, file name, file extension, file path, and the date uploaded. So if you go back to our database, we don't have this table. So you can see here, we don't have the table called documents attachment. So to do that, we need to do something else. We need to apply those changes that we have done to our database. And to do that, we use a command called update database. So if we do update database, it will now create this table to our database. So there is something wrong. The key not supported trusted server certificate. So here we should say, so let me just do this. We can actually remove, this should be trust server. I think we had added. So after doing that, let's just add the update the database. So I'm going to clear this. Then if we do that, if we update database, it should actually now update our database without any issues. So you can be able to see the commands running here, and some of them are actually SQL statements trying to create our table and even updating the database. So let's just wait and see. So if everything goes well, we should be able to have our documents table, which is actually called documents attachments table. So let's just see how this will go. So if you're new to this channel and you have not subscribed, consider subscribing, like our video, and comment down below. We notice 90% of you guys are watching our videos and you don't subscribe. So if you're one of them and you've managed to get up to here, so consider subscribing, like our video, comment down below on what you need us to do in our next video. So let's just wait and see. So if you go back to our database, so I want us to refresh and see if we have, no, so we don't have any table so far. So we need to, let's just wait and see what will happen. So if you go back to our application, so you see login failed for user. So that is the issue. So here, so I think there is something that we missed. Login failed for user. So here we need to, let's add something. So I want us to do trusted connection here. So just do trusted connection, then have these two true. So this should be true. Trusted connection true. Then once you have that, we have trust server certificate, and we have let me undo that. Trust server certificate should be true. Then we also have multiple active result set and trusted connection. So let's try and do the same thing. So let's just go back here. So I don't want us to supply the, so I'll just do that. Then if we do update database, then our database should be now be generated. As you can see, we have the commands running. And if you are keen with these commands, you'll notice that you have the SQL statements, create table, documents. This is the ID, file name, extension, file path, and document path. So if we go back to the database, we should be able to see that we now have the tables. And we also have the EF migration history, which actually tracks the history of our migrations. So you should see we have our initial migration file, and also on the documents attachment, we have the fields that we just created. So the next thing that I want us to do, whenever we upload a file in our application, so let's just go back to our application. So if you upload a file, it should actually do two things. It should upload the document to our folder and actually create that file within our application. So you can see for now, it is just uploading the file to our folder. So let's try to upload another one. So if we try to send, it will actually upload the file, but within our database, we don't have it. So you should be able to upload the file to the folder and also save it to the application, to the database, I mean. So what we are going to do, we need to go to our controller. That is our application. That is our documents upload controller. Then I want us to have our constructor here. So we need to do something. So I'll do CTO. So if we do that, then I want us to have something here. So I want us to define public, static. So we can do public, static. Let me just do, so we need to have, so we can do public, static, application, DB context. Then you can say this is the context. So if we do that, then I also want us to have it inside our here. Then you can say context, DB context. Then we can assign it here. So you say context is equals to DB context. So after having that, we can now, whenever we upload a file, we can now save our file. So we can do that after our file has been uploaded to the database, to the folder. So we can update. Here is when we can update the database. So to do that, I'm going to create, now we can have our file. So we can say variable. So we can say variable file details equals to new. We need our documents attachment model. So what was the name of our model? It was document attachments. So we can do that. Then inside here, we can say file name. The file name of our is equals to the file name. So this file name is what we had given it here. The next thing is we need to get the extension. So we can say file extension. We can be able to get the extension. This is the extension that we have. So we can do that. Then the next thing that we need is date uploaded. So we can do date time. Then we can do .now. Then another thing that we need is the file path. So the file path, we can also give it the complete, that is the file path. So this is the file path that we have. So once we do that, then we are now able to save our file. So I'll just do underscore context dot add. Then I'll pass my file details here. Then once we do that, then I can now save my changes. So I'll do await underscore context. Then I'll do save changes. So I'll do underscore context dot save changes. So if we launch our app, we should now be able to save our file within a folder and also to the database. So let me just launch our app and see how this goes around. So if you're new to this channel and you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. So I'm going to upload the file here. I'll just do try, then click here, then select the file. And if we execute, you notice that it has returned for us the file name. So let's just go back to our database and see what is there. So if we execute, you're able to see that we have now the file name, the extension, the file path, and the date it was uploaded. You can see this is the complete file path of the file. So if we can try another one, so let's try to execute. So we can execute multiple times. So if we execute multiple times, it will actually be creating the files in our database. So if we try that, you can see it has been executing the file and saving the file in our database. So I think that is it, guys, for today. We have been able to upload the file to our folder and even to our database. So if you're new to this channel and you have not subscribed, consider subscribing, like our video, and comment down below. See you in our next video. Bye.